In fact, I'm not aware of an organization similar to yours, a Hindu Chamber of Commerce in United States for sure. So I'm very glad that Canada is taking the lead, and I think the United States should learn.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. First of all, I want to say how pleased I am to be here with you, and very excited, actually. I'm pleased to be with you because as a senator who was appointed by Prime Minister Stephen Harper back in 2008, and being a son of immigrants, because everybody in this room, you're either immigrants or children of immigrants, and I am one of those as well. My parents came to this country in 1959 at the Pier of 21. And they came to this country with literally the way most immigrants come here. They come here with a dream to work hard, to succeed, to prosper, and offer the best possibility for their children. And they instilled those principles in me. And up to this day, as I serve in the Senate of Canada, I recognize that I speak not only for my province, for my city, but I speak for all of you who share those same common values of family and hard work. And we recognize when we come to this country, regardless of where we come from, that's not important. What's important is where we're going. And we go with those values and principles that I know that the Indo-Canadian community has of family, hard work, perseverance. And all you ask is the same thing my parents asked from this country. You ask fairness, justice, and opportunity. And the truth of the matter is our country has lost its way a little bit in the last few years. We are in a situation where we reward sometimes failure. We punish success, and so on and so forth. And we need to return back to our core values. Those are the values that I articulate in the upper chamber of the Senate. And that's the message I bring to you on behalf of the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, that this is the kind of values we want to return to. I'm also excited, I said at the beginning, because 30 years ago in Montreal, because in my previous life, before I was appointed to the Senate, I was in business. And I started something called the Greek Hellenic Chamber of Commerce in Montreal, which is exactly like this organization. It's designed to create networking opportunities, to create commercial transactions in business, and to propel forward these values that we are so instilled with. 30 years later, I'm proud to say in Montreal, it's one of the most successful organizations. I congratulate the founders of this organization and each and every one of you supporting it. And I wish you 30 and 40 years of success, just like the organization I founded in Montreal. And I'm sure you will succeed because the Indo-Canadian community has all the values that are required for success. Hard work, commitment, discipline, family values. And you are an inspiration to me. You are one of the reasons I get up all the time in the Senate of Canada to fight for those values. So I wish your organization continued success. I want you to know that Canada and India, of course, we have strong ties. But again, we can strengthen those ties. The last few years, we've seen some bumps in the road. And again, the message from the new leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, is that we need to do trade with India. We need to do free trade with India. We need to continue to build people-to-people tie, commerce-to-commerce exchange. And of course, this organization can serve as one of those springboards to get that done. I know that Garnet Genius is here in the crowd. Garnet, are you here? Or I can't see through the light, but he's one of our members of parliament from Alberta, who's also a strong spokesperson for the Indo-Canadian community. And you have friends both in the Senate and the House of Commons in the Conservative Party. Thank you for all you do for Canada. God bless your organization. God bless the community and continued success. Thank you very much.
Namaskar. It is a great pleasure to be here at the first Dantas Gala of the Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce. This year has been great for Hindus all across the world. We have a Hindu as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We have a person of Indian heritage, obviously, as the Vice President of the United States. Last week, Statistics Canada came out with a report that showed that the population of Hindu Canadians has gone from 1% to 2.3%, almost more than doubled during the last 10 years. We are now 830,000 strong. And obviously, for me personally and for all of you, the Parliament of Canada, the House of Commons in the Parliament of Canada, unanimously passed November as the Hindu Heritage Month. That is a great recognition. The purpose of that Hindu Heritage Month is two things. Basically, one, to recognize, to let people know to the contributions of the Hindu heritage to mankind for thousands of years. Whether it's in the field of medicine, astronomy, or archaeology, or science, in every single area, Hindu heritage has made great contribution. That is something we can be proud of. That is something we need to highlight and recognize. The second is the contributions of Hindu Canadians to socio-economic development of Canada and for strengthening the multicultural fabric of Canada. Hindu Canadians, in my view, we are one of the best ethnic community groups in Canada, highly educated, very professional, highly contributing to the economic sector of Canada. As far as my knowledge goes, there are very, very few people of Hindu Canadians who are dependent on social welfare. And as somebody was telling that the crime rate is close to zero amongst Hindu Canadians, which is a good thing. This is all something we can be proud of. I think the last thing about the Hindu heritage is that we need to preserve our heritage. We need to promote our heritage. We need to make this heritage known to our new generation of Canadians. We Hindus have come from different parts of the world, from South Asia, from Africa, from Caribbean. We come with different cultures, different rituals, different systems, but we need to preserve that, and we have to pass on to our new generations. And also we need to educate Canadians what Hindu culture is, what the Hindu heritage is.
For the Global Hindu Award, it is for recognizing someone who has had outstanding contributions to the study, teaching, and research of Indian philosophy, history, art, culture, languages, literature, and civilization, along with someone who has done work in this index studies sector. He has also done research in social sciences and done multiple publications and has worked in eternal transformation of this world literature. It's none other than Rajiv Malhotra ji. He's a professional physicist, and then he started off his non-profit Infinity Foundation, and his work is primarily in the technology with history, social science, and perspectives. Big congratulations, Rajiv Malhotra ji.
Namaste. I want to thank the Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce, and for nominating me, I want to thank the Canadian organization for Hindu heritage education. Education being a particularly important part of our community's needs, because we've been colonized for 1,000 years, first by the Arabs and Turks, who imposed their language on our country and our education system, and then by the Europeans, who imposed their language, all this at the detriment of Sanskrit and our own tradition. So Hinduism is in fact the only major world civilization whose current discourse has been formulated from outside, by outsiders. You don't see any other civilization. You don't see that Islamic civilization, the educational material was built by outsiders. You don't see that for Jews. You don't see that for Christians. You don't see that for anybody. But in the case of Hinduism, because of the colonial era, all our educational material, all our sense of history, all the interpretation of our texts, our values, has been done by people from other faiths and other religions. And so the religion has been colonized, and even though the country is decolonized and independent, financially, politically, militarily, the faith is still colonized in many ways. So I really congratulate the Canadians. I live in the United States for 52 years, and this is the work I've been doing. But I must say, I've come to Canada a dozen times in the last 15, 20 years and been brought to many Hindu temples. Even this visit, I'm going to 3 or 4 major organizations. And I have to say that over these years, the presence of Hinduism, not just the quantity, but also the quality has increased. And I wish the same would happen in other countries. In fact, I'm not aware of an organization similar to yours, a Hindu Chamber of Commerce in United States for sure, because you see, I became a founder of the Hindu-Jewish Coalition. And the Hindu side had a long debate, but should we call it Hindu or Indian, like an inferiority complex. And we have so many Indian Chamber of Commerce organizations for various trades, professions, etc., afraid to call themselves Hindu. But in private, lots of millions of dollars spent on temples and private Diwali festivals and so on. But in public, we are spiritual but not religious. That's sort of a complex. So I'm very glad that Canada is taking the lead, and I think the United States should learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We're honored to have you. Janice is currently a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Immigration Committee. He previously served as the Vice Chair of the Special Committee on Canada-China Relations.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be at this event tonight and celebrating the accomplishments of so many people and the great work being done by the Hindu Chamber of Commerce here. And as someone who personally comes from the Christian tradition, I love reading about and learning about Hinduism because there are such dynamic differences and so much to learn. And I've learned more even being here and listening to the speakers so far tonight. I think there's immense opportunities for Canada that come from our rich diversity. And in one of those areas is in the economic sphere. Many of you will know from the business work you're doing, building trading relations with countries around the world, just how the close connections to other parts of the world that come through our strong diaspora communities create such economic opportunity for our country. Here in Canada, the world feels so much closer in everything that we do. We're no longer reliant on foreign correspondents and bureaucrats to tell us what's happening in other countries. We have large, strong communities here in Canada that are able to reflect and share what the opportunities are and help us to build those strong connections. And it's been clear to me in the last 7 years that I've been a member of Parliament, just in particular, the deepening relationship between Canada and India, starting really at the people-to-people level and then driving its way up into government, into business, into culture, into all aspects of our life. And I know the Hindu community is not just present in India, but is present throughout the world. And the opportunities that come with those connections, economically, socially, culturally, are so rich and so significant. So I'm grateful for the chance to be here today to celebrate and honor the work that you're doing. The Hindu community has contributed so much to Canada in so many different domains. And I encourage you to continue to be involved, to be active, to build those connections with policymakers and decision makers to help us understand your communities and the things that we need to be doing to support the growth of businesses and trading relations here and around the world. So thank you again for this opportunity. God bless you and have a great evening.
सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.